I'd just like to provide some information for you. This portion of the meeting that we're having tonight is reserved for persons wishing to address the commission on matters to the specific content of the public hearings that are being conducted. Individuals wishing to provide comments should approach the podium. We ask that you state your name, to state your home of record address, and your city of residence. Each speaker may address the commission for a total of 3 minutes. Speakers shall refrain from entering into a dialogue with the commission members and from making comments regarding the good name and character of any individual. With that, let me turn this proceeding over to Mr. Porter, our county attorney.
Thank you. We have 2 public hearings. The first public hearing that we'll kick off in just a second involves the Jackson County solid waste plan, which we're required to do every 10 years. So we're in the process of doing that. We have some folks here to address the commission regarding that plan. It's required to have a public hearing before that plan is adopted. The plan has been prepared, as I understand it. And so we'll begin that portion of the hearing with under the conditions that Mr. Nance read. And if anybody has anything to comment regarding that particular public hearing, we can call on to do that. So, President.
They do a good job.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, members of the commission. My name is Brent Watson. I'm with Labella Associates. We have been helping Jackson County out with the update of the 10-year solid waste management plan. I've got a very brief presentation here to kind of go through that process.
We'll ask you your home record address and your city of residence.
My address?
Yes, sir.
It is 435 Mountain Meadows Lane, Wetumpka, Alabama, 36093.
Okay, thank you very much. That's just for the record.
No, that's not a problem. Y'all send me a Christmas card. So why are we here? Well, state law requires comprehensive solid waste management planning, both at the state level and the local level. You'll see there the top citation requires ADM to develop a statewide comprehensive plan. And then local units of government are also required to develop and maintain plans for comprehensive solid waste management within their jurisdictions. One thing to note is kind of the first cut is at the county level. Any municipality that is within that jurisdiction would be governed by that county plan unless they elect to opt out and develop their own plan. So we're here to talk about the Jackson County plan. The cities of Scottsboro and the cities of Stevenson have elected to opt out and will not be governed by this plan if adopted. So I mentioned the kind of the 2-tiered system. The state solid waste management plan was most recently updated in 2024. ADM updated it in April, and the Alabama Environmental Management Commission approved it in October of 2014. The Jackson County Solid Waste Plan was adopted by this body in July of 2014, subsequently approved by ADM in August of 2014. So that 10-year clock is now run. So just kind of a brief timeline here. Jackson County engaged Labella back at the end of last year to help with this process. Initially, part of this process involves data collection, because you have to have waste volumes and you have to forecast those over the 10-year period. So those surveys were sent out. Big thanks to Caleb Skipper and his team. They were very helpful in getting us that information. We got those survey results back. We got a draft plan to the county back in April, addressed the comments they had. We then subsequently gave it to ADM for an informal review. They gave us the thumbs up. So a public notice was published in the Jackson County Sentinel on Wednesday, July the 16th, to begin the public notice process and also to notice the hearing that we're holding today. So we're at the hearing now. It's my understanding the adoption of this plan is on the agendas, is on the commission's agenda for consideration later today. If the commission elects to adopt the plan, we will then submit it to ADM for their final review and approval. Anticipate to be next month. Take any questions that you may have.
Anybody from the audience have any questions? Please.
Thank you.
And that will conclude the public hearing on the Jackson County Solid Waste Plan. Public hearing, we now have a hearing to consider vacation of an easement portion of county road in Jackson County, Alabama. I just want to mention, there is a sign-up sheet for everybody who is here. This doesn't mean you were going to speak. It's just so that we can document we have held a public hearing and that all these people here. So if you haven't signed, please do that. Before we begin the public hearing, we're here because the owners of a tract of land in Jackson County, Shadow Lawn Farms LLC, has filed a request through their attorney, Mr. Charles Ray, who is here with us today, to vacate a portion of an unpaved county road or an unpaved road. And this one, if you're familiar with, and this is addressed to the commissioners as well, we have vacated numbers of roads over the years. They've always been roads that were maintained by the county and are within the county inventory. This one is a little bit different in that the reason the county is involved in the case is because in 1969, the residents of this area of the county, there were 5 or 6 of them, gave to the commission an easement for the purpose of, and I'll just read it to you what it's for the purpose of improvement of a public road. They were granted the right to improve and to maintain a public road. It appears that there was already a public road there, and the members of the community, being the Sims, the Millers, the Chapmans, the Morrises, and Henshaws, looks like, granted to the county by a document called Blanket Right-of-Way Deed for Public Road Improvement in 1969. A couple of interesting things for you to know that in 1969, Jackson County did not have a public roads department. We did not have a county engineer. All of the roads in Jackson County were maintained by the state of Alabama. Jackson County was what was called a captive county in 1969, and Jackson County did not begin to take control over its own roads until 1979. So at the time that this blanket right-of-way for public improvement of road was granted to Jackson County did not improve any road. We didn't have equipment, we didn't have anything. It was all maintained by the state of Alabama. Best we can tell, checking with the county engineer and going through the records we have, Jackson County never maintained this road, never improved the road. We never accepted this blanket right-of-way to maintain those roads. So Jackson County is, best we can tell, for all the records and all the people we've talked to, Jackson County never accepted the road for maintenance purposes. It was never accepted into the county inventory. It does not meet the minimum requirements for a Jackson County public road. Whether it is a public road or not is for someone other than this commission to determine. That would have to be with the circuit court to determine whether or not it's a public road. It is not a county road. If it is a public road, it would have to be determined by someone other than this body. So what the commission is asked to do is to vacate or to relinquish the right of maintenance and improvement on this road that was granted in this document in 1969 that the county never accepted. So that's sort of a summary of where we are with this. We've been asked by the owner of Shadow Lawn Farms to vacate that right of way and easement through that portion that goes through Shadow Lawn Farms. The road itself, those who are here that are interested in this know, it leaves County Road 175. It's an unpaved road. It goes through the state lands for a ways and gets into Shadow Lawn Farms and stays in Shadow Lawn Farms property until it gets to the Tennessee line. This road is used and has been historically used, from the best we can understand, by people traveling from Tennessee to Alabama to the state lines, and from Alabama to Tennessee state lines, immediately on the other side of the state line. So it's been used, and I don't think there's any dispute about that. And that's really the reason we're here, is because the road has been used and has been used frequently. So that's the issue we're here about. So that's sort of a summary. Do the commissioners have any questions before we get started? All right, so if you'd like to speak, raise your hand and the chairman will call on you one by one.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. My name's Charles Ray. I live at 435 Locust Avenue in Huntsville. I'm an attorney for Shadow Lawn Farms. And you, Mr. Porter, set it up perfectly. I did not realize that the history with the state and the county, so I understand a little bit more of our correspondence, a little bit more. The first impediment my client has, Dr. Real and Shadow Lawn Farms, is the inability to control his own land and this road that goes through it. It's its only true access into his property. He's put a lot of money in the six figures in maintaining this road. As Mr. Porter said, he's had no outside help for that. County's not undertaken it, not accepted it, not put in the maintenance. However, it's being used by everybody that wants to. And when he's asked to restrict access, he's been told you cannot. It's a public easement. You cannot put up a gate. You cannot restrict access. And so this particular document, it's basically stopping him from being able to continue to improve that road, to control the access, to develop his property, to build something on it. You make sure that he has the correct road bed and it's not going to be eroded and utilized by the public, so that he can fully enjoy the land that he purchased. It's his land. The road is just the ingress and egress, and that is the issue here. This is not a situation where the county is taking the road in, the county is not maintaining it. The burden is falling on Shadow. And I understand that people who use this road enjoy the use. I understand that that's what they're used to. However, I don't believe it's fair for the situation to stay the way it is. And that's why we are asking for this to either be rejected, vacated, whatever language you want to use, so that this particular easement, which says it grants the county the privilege and right of way necessary to improve a public highway across our lands, and that the whole easement, including future maintenance rights. This is just the very top end, the northern end of that easement. But there has been no effort of improvement. There has been no public highway dedicated to this or taken in. And there has been no maintenance. So because of the use and the, I believe, a undue burden put on the owner, we're asking you to please grant this petition.
Anyone else want to speak on this issue?
Get up there without tearing plates up. My name's Stan Vanderbrink. I live at 5137 County Road 175, the first place past Grace Chapel Church. I don't like living there anymore. I can't stand the weekends. We're up every Sunday morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, with the razors flying up and down. I'm worried about liability. One morning I got up on a Sunday morning, I got 4 horses and a mule all over the highway. My fence is down where they rolled something through there, and there's a Polaris razor windshield soaked in blood out on my property. I own all the land at 175 and 140 where they park. They let little kids ride those things. They're dangerous. The other thing is the maintenance. Our roads are hardly maintained now, and I understand that budgets are real tight and the guys that work for the maintenance department work their butt off, but it's limited resources. Usually we're the road commission after the storm. Bobby Jean, Donnie, me, we're out scraping trees off. There's still 8 inches of sand on 175 right now from 2 months ago. There's trees hanging down everywhere. And I understand everybody's busy, but something has to get done, because I got 300 acres. It costs a lot of dang money, and I can't stand living there on the weekends. And I can't have my grandkids out, and they're belligerent. when they all line up parking on 175, they'll block the road when they're loading all their ice chests in, and they give you an attitude. And they threaten if they close it, they'll shoot a horse, so let them shoot it. But something has to get done. Either somebody's got to buy them some property, or let that forever wild, instead of only being for hunting, let them ride four-wheelers on it. But I don't want to live like this anymore, and I shouldn't have to.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else have a comment to make regarding vacation of this road? Going once, going twice.
What's that?
Anybody else have any other comments? Okay.
Okay,
And that should conclude the public hearing regarding County Road, the vacation of County Road.
with that, we will move into next portion. I don't think we have any awards or presentations tonight, and I don't think we have any additional public comments tonight. So we will move into the new business portion of the meeting. Now, I need to ask the question, as I understood the process regarding the solid waste plant. Public hearing was tonight, and then went to ADM for review. And then came back to the county to approve. Per your comment, I understand you're saying we need to approve tonight.
Correct.
Then it goes to ADM for ADM.
That's correct, sir. Yes, sir.
So with that, we've approved an agenda without a motion to approve the solid waste management plan. So John, I'm gonna ask, we need to.
You can amend the agenda and add that to it.
So I can do a motion to amend the agenda
Yes.
to include a motion to approve the Jackson County solid waste management plan. Okay. So with that, do I have a motion to amend the agenda to include new business item 7E, approval of the Jackson County solid waste management plan?
Eight.
It's, under new business.
Right.
Hey, you're right.
Yeah.
I did take this in school, so,
I had to tell Rowan you was when you were through.
all right, so.
I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion, do we have a second? Second, all in favor, say aye. Motion carries. So we will add that to the agenda for our new business portion. So proceeding into new business. The minutes are in your packet from the July 28th meeting and work session. I'll give you a minute to take a look at that. So with that, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes of the July 28th, 2025 meeting and work session? We have a motion, to have a second.
Second.
We have a second, all in favor, say aye. Motion carries, thank you. At previous work session, we had discussion about the need to surplus a 2018 garbage truck from the solid waste department. In your packet, you have the information that was presented by Director Skipper regarding that vehicle. So with that, do I have a motion to surplus the 2018 garbage truck for the solid waste department? We have a motion, to have a second.
No, sir.
We have a second. Any discussion or questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Also in the package, you have a resolution regarding the vacating of the public road requested by Shadow On Farms LLC at the end of Jackson County Road 175. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Porter for comment regarding this resolution. Do you have any comment about
We have prepared, anticipating the approval of the request to vacate the easement and prepare a resolution for the commission to consider, which does exactly that. It vacates that which was granted to the commission. And that was the an easement for the purpose of improvement and maintenance on a portion of a public road, the portion that runs through Shadow Lawn Farms LLC. This will not be a determination of whether or not it is a public road. As I said earlier, but I think the commission has the jurisdiction or authority to make that determination. You're vacating what it is that you have been granted, relinquishing the right to maintain a road that has actually never been maintained by the county and never been accepted by the county. So that would be the outcome of the resolution as prepared.
Let me ask you, any questions?
I do, Jonathan, for this, end of the county road, is there some marker or some way of indicating where our property will end if we go with this already in place, or how will that be signaled?
So the only portion of County Road 175 we claim ends with a pavement. So present day, the end of pavement is the end of County Road 175.
So it's, to me, that's kind of like saying at the old oak tree. So where do we need to signify with some marker, some sign that would be an indicator to say this is where this road ends, and thus your public access is denied from this point forward?
Well, I think that's probably a determination that'll maybe be made in the future, but we can place an end of county maintenance sign at the end of pavement to make that clear, but it's pretty obvious because the road turns into the creek at that point.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that if deterioration comes up the road for whatever reason, could someone surmise that, oh, well, at the end of the pavement, I know I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I'm just curious.
Just for the record, we're talking about two different spots entirely. So the road ends here, and where we're vacating is just before the Tennessee line, essentially. So the last property prior to crossing the state line is what's being requested to vacate, if I'm clear. But there are several other properties before you get to that. So the pavement ends up here, and we've never maintained beyond
I
that.
got you. All right, thank you for that clarification.
But there's more.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah, this is only the property in Shadow Lawn Farm.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Any other questions, comment? One, let me clarify if I'm right or wrong. The commission does have option to set this aside for 40 days to take a look at this and make a determination. So I just want to make that clear, but we do have that option rather than voting on it tonight.
You can, if you choose not to vote on it tonight, you can postpone that decision.
Okay. So with that, do I have a motion to approve and sign the resolution to vacate easement on a portion of County Road 175?
I'll make the motion.
We have the motion. We have a second. Second. We have a second. Any further discussion or question? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So with that, we will approve this resolution, and we will, I believe, on the process, we'll have to file this with the probate to.
We'll publish it in the newspaper when it has been vacated and filed with the probate judge.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for being here on this issue. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is, and I will turn it over to Judge Manning to discuss, but we have municipal elections tomorrow, and I do think, where is the judge?
Just got called out, but hold on.
Maybe I can talk just a little bit, but we do have the municipal elections tomorrow, and several of the municipalities will have elections, but a number of them will not because there's no challenges to existing mayors or council members. But we have been requested by several of the municipalities to provide support in the election tomorrow. So that's what this motion is about. And it's a motion to approve and sign a memorandum of agreement with the city of Stevenson, the city of Bridgeport, the town of Hillsborough, and the town of Dalton, or two qualified electronic poll book custodians, and to be present to assist, and also for the use of two electronic poll books for 2025 municipal election and subsequent runoff. So, Judge,
Sorry about that. Got a phone call. Historically, we've always offered these poll pads that we have, that the county has to the municipalities. Scottsboro uses it quite often. This time having several cities, Stevenson, Bridgeport, Dutton, and Pisgah are the four municipalities that have elections, and they've asked to use the poll pads. We always let them do that at no charge, but they gotta have somebody who can put the voters list on there, help them during the election day, and Lana and Donna have offered to do that. So they've offered to do it the same way they've done it with the city before, or with Scottsboro before, and the machine custodians. A bill will be sent to the city. The cities will pay the county, and then the counties will go through HR payroll to pay that.
any questions?
That was the only question I had. Thank you.
Is that all right? And that all came about with an attorney general opinion several years ago. They had a machine custodian that worked for a county that was billing the cities and not taking off work. So Lana and Donna will both be off tomorrow, and they're still going to be billed through this. Y'all got anything for me?
Thank you. So,
All right, guys. Thank
if
you.
there are no further questions or comments, do I have a motion to approve and signing of the memorandum of agreement for the city of Stevenson, the city of Bridgeport, the town of Pisgah, and the town of Dalton for two qualified electronic poll book custodians, and for the use of electronic poll books for the 2025 municipal elections and subsequent runoff elections. Do I have a motion? We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a second. With no further comment or discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. With the next item, is a motion to approve the Jackson County Solid Waste Management Plan. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion, do I have a second? Second. We have a second. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. That's the last item in our new business portion of the meeting. We will now move into work session. We have three items tonight to discuss, two under the commission. First is, as many of you may have heard, there is an effort to bring a gas line across the northern tier of Alabama, north of the river. And that gas line would be a 36 inch gas line that would run across the northern tier, as I said, into Jackson County through the Laurel area. So I've asked Mr. Jimmy Green from the Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas to provide just an update and some information regarding that project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. I appreciate y'all having me. Thank you, commissioners. Appreciate y'all's time, and I'll give you a brief update because we're really just in the early stages of doing it. But we have formed the North Alabama Regional, North Alabama Public Energy District. So just to give you, I'm just going to run through a little bit of the why we need it kind of thing. Why is this needed in North Alabama? Y'all did a study. The county did a study on one of the infrastructure needs of Jackson County. One of the clear needs in that study was natural gas. So since that study has been produced, we have looked in all kinds of avenues, all kinds of directions. What do we need to move forward? What are we going to have to do it? In Jackson County, we're blessed in the fact that we have lots of water and we have the ability to treat sewer. So we have the ability to do a lot of things in Jackson County, but we don't have the ability to have more power and more natural gas. And so as you look at the areas in our area, natural gas is piped in to Alabama. It comes from either the Gulf or out in Texas or up in the Pennsylvania area. So if you look at these different pipelines, the light blue one up there is a Tennessee pipeline, and that pipe is fully subscribed. There's no more capability of moving gas through that pipeline. If you look to the south and to the east, that's called the Southern Natural Gas Pipeline, and there's no more open subscriptions on that pipe. That's actually the pipe that Scottsboro is fed off of. And we cannot get any more gas up through that pipeline. It's fully subscribed. That pipeline was started originally in the 30s and has been updated a couple of times, but the more recent part of it, and even that part that goes up in Georgia, is fully subscribed. So if you look to the north, you look to the east, you look to the south, we're in a fully subscribed area. If you go to our west, the yellow line there goes over to Huntsville. And that line was built in 54 and it's fully subscribed. Okay. The line that comes down to the line across the state, it was built in 2000 and it's fully subscribed. So to say the growth of North Alabama is heavy and is going to continue to be heavy is an understatement, really, because we've already grown to a large capability. You look at the two lines that are on the more of a reddish, and I'm colorblind, by the way. I shouldn't have done it in colors, but the two lines running in the west part of the state are TGP and Enbridge. Enbridge has a little capabilities left. We're currently talking to them. And TGP, at the beginning of last year, had over 1 billion cubic feet of gas left on their pipeline. As of last week, they only have 300,000 left. So the consumption of gas in our area is growing by leaps and bounds, to say the very least. But that gives you an idea of where the capabilities are. We don't create it here. We can't get it here unless it comes through one of those pipelines. So with that being said, we started looking at different capabilities and things like that, and we're lacking in some of these infrastructures. So we started talking to some of these other communities, Huntsville, Athens, and areas like that. They're getting close to their subscription limits. And so they started wanting to look at a further regional approach on what things we can do to help all of ourselves all the way across this part of the state. Scottsboro, on peak days, we have to cut back our industries to interruptible. They're on an interruptible service. And on a really cold winter day, probably 4 or 5 times a year right now, they go on interruptible service, which means sometimes if they don't have the backup fuel, they send people home. So it's a dire need at this point. Our system was built in 66. Huntsville's system was built in the 50s, and Athens was built somewhere around that time. We're looking for more generated power in North Alabama. If you look around in Alabama and North Alabama, the nuclear at Brownsbury, the hydrogen at Wheeler and Gunnersville and Wheeler, and then the solar at Lawrence County, the potential for a pump storage in Jackson County is good. That will help for additional power. And Colbert County has got, and Morgan County all have natural gas fired turbines in their communities. So, and the nuclear is a long range capability that TVA and all of those are looking at. We need energy in this area. We are continually looking for more and more energy to bring more and more industry and more residentials into our area. And so with this plan, we hope to land some potential energy growth. We haven't got there yet. We're still in the early stages of that, but there is some thoughts and looking at the different processes. We took this as a whole regional approach, and in July of 2025, we formed what's called the North Alabama Public Energy District. It's Scottsboro Water, Sewer, and Gas, Athens Utilities, and Huntsville Utilities. They're all owned by, the corp, or the district is owned by all three of those cities at this moment. Now, there's potential for other municipalities, not municipalities, but utilities to get in and districts to get in, and that will open up more capability. This thing has the potential of crossing about 6 counties and about 8 different utilities that potentially could look into. The oversight would be with those 3 utilities. We would all 3 look at, oversee the running of the line and maintenance of the line, and that's the theory that we're working on currently. This would accommodate residential growth, economic growth, and energy growth. And you see at the bottom, it's about $1 million to $3 million a year in maintenance. So the code that this was founded under was Alabama Code 1191B1. And the city of Athens, Huntsville, they all joined in under that code. I am currently the chair. I got appointed by the other 2 guys to be the chair of this North Alabama Energy District. I'm proud that Jackson County has a representation in this. I think Jackson County, of all the counties that are needing it, Jackson County needs it the worst. And I think the rest of my partners up there would agree that we're in the bigger straits than any of them. And therefore I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse, but anyway, I'm the current chairman. The vice chairman is Braxton Gwynn with Athens, and the secretary is Wes Kelly, the general manager of Huntsville Utilities. As you can see, it's a pretty big price tag. That's the early estimate. It's a 137-mile long project. It's $1.1 billion. 1975, I moved here in 1975. They built a nuclear plant in 1975. It's probably one of the biggest things to happen to Jackson County. I think the population was next to nothing at that time. When we moved to 14,000, we've been at 14,000 until last year. We moved into 15,000, or a year before last, I think it was. This is a big deal. This would be a big deal for Jackson County. It would be a big deal for the state of Alabama. As y'all know, Huntsville is growing left and right. They have a lot of energy needs. That is pushing into our county. I think it means a lot for our county and for our people in our county. This is just a brief. This is not in, it doesn't have any, it just gives an idea. It's not set in stone. The next phase for us would be look at the lines, look at the capabilities, look at the abilities. We are looking at going on right of ways. And that's where you guys can play a big part in this. The way we make this cheaper than what the hedge fund guys can do it is we use public right of ways, and us being a public entities and all of us being public entities, we will move across public right of ways, state right of ways, and those kind of things, and move it from one side of the state to the other. You guys can help us with other commissioners and other people across the state. It would be a big blessing that y'all join in and band in with us. That need is not there yet, but I will come back to you and ask you to help it because it's a big project. We are in phase 1, fixing to go to 2, looking at some next steps. We are trying to plan out and get long-term contracts and agreements with different folks along the way to try to pay for it. It is a big ask. It is a big ask for all these communities. But if you look at that original map, there is a lot of need in North Alabama. I mean, you can call it, say it, do it any other way you want to, but there's a lot of need. So other things that we got to work through is federal permits, state permits, local requirements, and this is kind of why we're making sure y'all are staying on the page, staying in the group with us, staying informed best we can. We want to try to keep you informed. There's certain things that are going on that we can't divulge details on, but it's still moving along at a decent clip. We're doing the due diligence, public engagement. It's kind of what we're doing a little bit of now. We'll do a little more as the project progresses. This is still in the early stages. I don't want you to jump to any conclusion. It's being analyzed and scrutinized, trying to come up with business plans and a strategy how to make this thing work. But like I said, again, it's a dire need. We'll have to have long-term capacity agreements is how we pay for it. We're looking for funding in different areas. Some of the military stuff that's going on in Huntsville, could potentially help us as well. So there's all kinds of avenues that we're trying to chase currently, but we're working very hard to maybe get this project going. Like I said, the district is formed with the capability of having public and private entities paying into this line. The thing of it is, right now, we've been paying a subscription on the line we've been using since 1966, right? If these entities, and if we have the ability to build this pipeline, the people of Jackson County, Limestone County, Madison, Marshall, DeKalb, all those people will end up, these districts that join it will end up owning that pipeline, and then it becomes more of an economic growth. It just stimulates more and more economic growth after that. Of course, it's going to be 30 years down the road, but we've been waiting on a nuclear plant for a lot longer. We haven't reached a decision point, but here's kind of the steps that we go to get this decision made. And as you can see, we got to get the finance secured to be able to do it. But there's a lot more steps. I'm really just coming to keep you in the loop, to make sure you understand and to tell you, we need you. We need your help. When we move into this county, we're going to need all the space and room that we can in public right of ways. So we may be coming to you and asking you for those. We have the right, as the district is put together, to go in those right of ways, but y'all's full support would be great, and we would greatly appreciate it. Is there any questions? I know I went over that fairly fast, and like I said, I wish I had a lot more to tell you, but the project is going, it is moving. But we're still early on in the phases.
So, and I understand there's some things you can't discuss.
Yes.
Is this a project that, if given the capital, you're able to bond this out, get the money to do it? How long would start to finish conceptually take?
It's a little bit of a tricky question. The early estimate is 5 years down the road. We have it in place. Early estimate. Now, there's things that, wildlife refuges and creek bodies and all those kind of things that may hold that to a longer state. But there's also communities in this county that don't have gas service at all right now. And they form districts trying to get it. So in another 5 years, it'd be okay, but we want to try to get it into Jackson County as soon as we possibly can. But there's going to be a lot of decision factors that play along that line to get it.
And that question leads to the other question, which is, do you foresee any roadblocks of this gets to Athens and that's as far as it goes, or this gets to Huntsville and that's as far as it goes, or is this something that once you guys are able to proceed, this is going to be the entire measure of the project?
I wish I had the crystal ball to tell you, but I don't believe, with us being a public entity and being able to be on public right of way and the ability to in state, that's the key, keeping this pipeline in state. If we go outside the state to get it, it becomes a federally regulated, and there is so many more issues that come with that. So my hope is that there shouldn't be any problem getting it across. I do believe that we can get it across. I think we got to get a lot of questions answered. I think we got a lot of things to get done, but I do believe there won't be a holdup if we can get the project started.
Because for me, and this is us talking, I think this is a project that's well worth pursuing if we're in the benefactory thing, as opposed to just signing on so that Athens gets more gas or Huntsville gets more gas.
I got two partners in this deal right now that I think are dedicated to trying to get it. And let's say this. what Jackson County holds right now is there is potential for us to still hold the cards. I mean, obviously I can't go any further than this, but there is something that all of them need as well as us.
And so again, I know you're limited what you can say, but in a 36-inch line, that's a pretty high capacity that can do lots of things, a pressurized 36-inch line. And so I don't want to speculate what can and can't come from that, but I mean, that's not something that's going to be 36 inches at Waterloo and comes to us at 6 inches. That's 36 inches or the whole way.
It has to go the whole way.
Right.
Under the current plan right now, it has to go the whole way.
Okay.
It has to stay that way. There wouldn't be the capability of doing what we need to do if that pipe is not the right size. I think everybody is on the same page personally. I've been wrong before, but I truly believe this is a good project. I truly believe this is a historical project for Jackson County and North Alabama. So it's growing a lot of
If we've learned anything, our community is limited by the lack of energy. And if we can increase our energy capacity, then it's up to us at that point.
Yes, sir. And I'm glad you said that. And I'm one of these kind of people that if somebody's gonna do something, we might as well be the ones doing it. Or it's not gonna get here because everybody else has got to look out for everybody else. And so we need to be the one.
To your point on the federal issue, that's why TVA is where it is.
Yeah.
And if that was an Alabama issue, that would have been completed a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so
It's still gonna take a lot of different aspects to get it done, but I'd much rather it be in the hands of Jackson Countyans and Scottsboro than not in our hands at all. And if we don't do anything, then at some point, it's gonna be a stalemate. So
I can't tell you how proud I was to see you as president. That's good affirmation that we are a vital partner in this. And I know you've done a lot of legwork on this, so thank you for that.
and I can't brag on the other two. They're very dedicated to this project. They've jumped on. They've worked as hard, if not harder than I have to carry this. And you're only seeing just a quarter of what's going on. So I appreciate y'all's time. Sorry to take
I would
it.
make one comment in regards to your comment about power. But this, and you correct me if I'm wrong, what this does is it's not just the option to put power into residential manufacturing. It also opens up the option of future gas generated power.
It opens up a lot of options. Yes.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you all you do. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Next item on the agenda is a discussion. We do have some property up in the high top community of 50 acres up there. That property was purchased by the commission in October of 2021. It said 50 acres. The idea at the time was that it would provide an opportunity for expansion of park services in Jackson County. So you have in your packet, you have the deed document that we have for that property. If you want to take a look at that. But also, once we got the property, we put together with the GMC company to do a concept of a plan for how we would build out the properties for a park area. And so that is provided in your packet. Just for your information, but Goodwin, Mills and Taylor did that plan. What you will see in the plan is an idea of how we would take the whole 50 acres and develop that property over time. And we ask that they do this in a manner that if needed, we could do it in phases for the plan. And so they have put that together. the total cost of the plan that they put together, and it's just a plan, it's not, you have to accept all of it, but the total cost of the plan they put together was $17.6 million to develop it into a park area. That included campsites, that included facilities in the park. It included a center that you could hold events in. And it certainly included trails for hiking and biking in those areas. It included areas for other kind of activities that you could have, whether it was for frisbee golf or other kinds of activities that you could have. The phases were divided into 4 phases. The first phase to get the basic infrastructure for camping there, which included both RV camping as well as what I would call primitive camping sites, and the roads that would need to be there to include gas, water, not gas, but water and sewer and power infrastructure for that. That estimate was $7.8 million. Then we had subsequent phases leading to the 17.2. So since 2021, with that kind of price tag of phasing, the other activities that we have that we feel very responsible for, from my assessment, it's hard to find $17 million when we need probably $17 million to do roads in Jackson County, but that's just a statement that I put out there. So we've had a discussion before about what do we eventually, what do we need to do with the high top property. And so with that, I just want to provide that information to you. Any comments or discussion, we certainly could take this further in other work sessions, but that's the information that we had discussed, provided you guys about what we were with high top property. So let me open it up for this.
Well, being in my district, I've had several conversations with the mayor out top, and he's interested in where we stand and whether we want to sell or whether we want to keep it. And then we were trying to find monies and people interested in investing, and so far we were unable to do that. So at this point, so.
Tomorrow's meeting does not really have to do with the high top property. We are going to have a discussion with Singing River Trail tomorrow. They have proposed a route plan through Jackson County. Does not include a route in this area of the county.
And at one time we thought it might.
And one time we did think it would link into this, would make it very attractive for people that were using the Singing River Trail, that we would have a campsite for it. But so that's part of the big question for the Singing River Trail. This question is, what are their ultimate goals for Singing River Trail? Would it ever include this? One other comment I will make, if you know where the next red radar that's up in the high top area, it either conveniently or inconveniently sits right in the middle of this property. So,
We also have a homeowner sitting there too.
and we do have a house there with a couple acres of property that's on county roads. It's in the front of this property. Any other questions? Comments? What I would propose is to take a look at this, and we think at some point we need to have a discussion about how we proceed with this, or do we proceed with this property and make the decision what we want to do. There, okay. That is the last of the commission items. Next item is an update on courthouse annex. I will give you just a quick status of where we are. The courthouse portion of the work that we're done, we're approaching the point, and Colby, correct me if I'm get off base a little bit on timing, but it looks like we're a couple of weeks away.
Vision is what makes your
couple of weeks away from being, finished here, in the courthouse, with the work that PNC is doing. And so that would be wrapping that up. Also, from the work that PNC is doing with the courthouse annex, we are getting close to being complete with that. We'll get an update on that schedule tomorrow. I believe we're about 2 or 3 weeks, and that would include PNC being complete, the architectural firm doing a punch list and closing out the punch list for that property. We do have an activity that we approved a couple of meetings ago, and that was the employee parking lot. They have started work on the employee parking lot. And so they will, we'll get an update on what they believe the schedule to be, but certainly that's going to take probably from an estimate, initial estimate from the contract of about 60 days to get that one done. So we'll have a better estimate tomorrow when that would be complete. One of the items that we're going to need to do, that we are required to do is once we have what I would call control, build an occupancy date given to us by the contractor, is we then have to go and finish the IT upgrade installation into that facility. And we are working to put the latest in technology and IT capability in that facility for the work that will be done there, which will be very important. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. Boydson, our director of IT. He has a concept of what we need.
Well, this is the what I would call the preliminary engineering of networking and AP of quote of that building. There's probably going to be a couple of tweaks of the switches we actually use, but it would only affect that quote. Could be plus or minus 2,000 or 3,000 more on either side. They didn't get it to me in time today, but that's the most recent one I have after talking with him. On the front is that quote. The back breaks down each of the devices. This will be a matching network to what we have at all the other sites, including the courthouse. Link it up just as another site on the courthouse to where phones are all the same. The Wi-Fi is the same.
So the building right now has all the cabling that is has been run and supposed to all the racks have been put in.
Yes.
Our job now is to populate all that with IT hardware that we need to operate the facility. There's a fair statement.
It is. There's almost 300 internet ports in that building. Some going to state, some going to extension office, things like that. We're providing phones for the extension office that will go in our network. But yes, so they're going to have the wiring done up to the point of where it then becomes our responsibility to bring internet to that and send it out throughout the field.
So, and Matthew, the funding for this would come out of the 116 fund, which is the fund that we use for upgrades of our building.
Yes, sir. Fund 116 can be used to upgrade, equip, which is what this would fall under, renovate buildings, the capital improvement fund. And based on the size of this quote, this company is part of a purchase cooperative. So they do so that this project does not have to be independently bid for what's being done. It's actually a discount on what their contract rate is. So that's why this does not have to be bid out.
Okay. Any questions? One other note on questions. Another note on status. tomorrow we will have a discussion scheduled, but I will go ahead and state it. Right now, it looks to us like the schedule for opening the doors on this building is going to be the first workday after the first of the new year. That will give us time to get all of this equipment in place and give us time to get a lot of opportunity to test the whole of the architecture that's in the building. From every workstation in the building and also enable the state activities that's going to be in the building to get their equipment in the building, their IT in the building, and get all that tested to make sure we're fully operational. We will also have the opportunity to move all equipment, furniture, and other items into the building. And our belief right now is the way we want to operate is we go on Christmas vacation or holiday and leaving the courthouse, and whenever we come back to work after the Christmas and New Year holiday, we come back to work for all the administrative services supporting the residents of Jackson County in the Jackson County Courthouse and on Liberty Line. So that's where we are today. So, anybody, any questions? Go ahead.
I'd like to mention something, Mr. Nance, that I thought was really promising at our last meeting. The supervisor from the driver's license, there's a pretty good possibility of them adding an examiner when we get over there. So, we have such a backlog of folks waiting because there's one and she goes and does the road test and comes back. So, don't know all the particulars. Shoot, if it was 2 or 3 days a week to have 2 folks here, and they've got enough space over there for that. So that's very promising, I think.
You okay with us waiting till next meeting?
I was gonna ask if it's all right with y'all, if we could push that to the work session on the next meeting. I'll have the hard quote. Discuss that.
I would propose that we push it to the new business now.
Okay, I can have those hard quotes. Definitely.
Next week, okay. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, that's the last item we have in our work session. With that, we'll move to reports from the staff. County Administrator.
I just want to note that we have a budget meeting this week on Wednesday. Commissioners are invited to come out.
All right, and County Engineer. Don, anything else? Okay. So I was going to ask the sheriff, but he stepped out. Judge, anything from you?
Just happy to be here.
Okay. Colby? David?
Wanted to apologize, number E, Mr. Nance did call me about that. I dropped the ball on that one. I told Don it'd be the next meeting, so that is, I'll take the blame on that. Sorry.
We'll move it forward for you tonight. Okay. With that, we'll move to comments from the commission, District 1, Commissioner Laurel.
I'd just like to thank all the employees for all their hard work.
District 2, Commissioner Kim.
We have an employee in the courthouse, Trina Johnson. She's not doing very well. Just ask for prayers for her. She's struggling.
District 3, Commissioner Button.
Yeah, I echo the sentiment of my fears, but also I want to encourage everyone to vote in our local elections. It's critical. Whether it be small town, big cities, county election, state election, federal election, whatever, it is critical. And so if one of your municipalities vote tomorrow, please vote.
Okay, District 4, Commissioner Brown.
Just want to say thank you to all who came out tonight. Good to see folks from my district out. Good to see Representative Mike Kirkland and Jim. I want to say thank you, all the hard work you guys have put into this. I know there's a lot to it. We've been talking about, 20 years for the need for this, and it's great to see it moving forward. And I'll end with echoing what Paul said about Ms. Johnson. Talked to them over there in her office, and she's having a hard time. Also, keep Beverly Bell, Jamie Bell in your prayers. I graduated with Jamie back a long time ago, and his wife is having a lot of issues, and she's had to have several of her limbs amputated or parts of limbs amputated. It's tough on them, so keep them in your prayers.
Okay. just comment, again, the budget meeting tomorrow on Wednesday, that starts at 8:30. And we will run through all our departments in that budget discussion. At 4:30 Wednesday, we will have a special work session and we will have a roads, Jackson County roads discussion. And with that, our next meeting date is September the 8th. It will be here in this room. And we're going to go into an executive session for discussion about potential negotiations. And so with that, I will excuse everybody, but we'd like to Mr. Miller, please start. Thank you very much. And thanks for everybody being good tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Zach.